Go.
All right, IEEE Supervisors for the lab room. This is your instructions. Michael's here to help demonstrate. When you come in the room, before you step in the room, you have safety glasses. Every single person coming in the room, safety glasses on before they get in the room. If someone takes their safety glasses off, you then tell them to put them back on, and they must keep them on at all times. If they take them off again, you give them that warning and you tell them the next time they leave the room. Third time, you ask them to leave the room. If they won't, then you'll call security on the phone, which is listed right on the phone, but it's 2003. They will come and escort that student out of the room. The other things that we have, so before you start, you must watch the lab safety video on the room. So that's a lab safety video for whichever room we have the IEEE lab in.
There are a couple of simple things that are pretty straightforward but very important, like there's absolutely no drink or food allowed in the labs, as well as keeping the aisles clean and making sure you place everything back the way you got it.
As lab supervisor, you are responsible for everything that happens in the room, so you have to be vigilant. Students, when they're working in here, are allowed to do many things, but there are limitations on it. So one of the limitations is no AC work. We want no voltages that you can't get off of the power supply that's here to be on any kind of circuitry that's exposed. When working with a PLC, we can only connect into the patch board that is connected with the PLC. In that patch board, you can connect within it, but not to anything else. The basic standard safety rules that we have, no exposed connections that aren't low voltage, so no exposed connections that don't come off the power supply. Do not change our scope probes with the probe for our function generator, and do not use a standard BNC. There is a fuse on this, so that's got to stay there. If during operation of the equipment something were to fail, then that should be reported to you as a supervisor, so you ask people to report anything like that, and you will report that back to tech support so that they can have it repaired or fixed. When students come into the lab, there's a sign-in sheet. Every student coming into the lab must sign in at that sign-in sheet, and they'll sign in at the bench that they're going to work at. Even if a student wants to just come in and say, hey, I just want to talk over to my friend over here. You say, no, you have to sign in. You can then go talk to them, sign out, and leave. So your sign-in sheet should have their name, the time they came in, the time that they left. If there's a issue during the lab or somebody gets hurt, first you would call security or the emergency number, which is 55, security is 2003, right on the phone, depending on how bad it is, and let security deal with things. If you have the ability, you go over and help, but when security gets here, just let them take care of everything. We have procedures for lockdown. We have procedures for hold and secure. Those ones you must read over the pamphlet that you will be given before you're allowed to be a supervisor in the lab. If there is an electrical emergency, someone is getting electrocuted somehow, do not touch them. You must press the e-stop buttons that are in the room, and the e-stop buttons in the lab are visible in the different walls of the room on each of our labs. If we lose power for some reason, we do not reset it as a supervisor. You would then say, okay, people, lab's over. People will pack up and leave the lab, and then you can go down and talk with tech support to see if they can.
When you're in the lab, there is absolutely no open flames, no outside chemicals or arcs going on inside the lab. It's very important. If by any chance there is a fire that occurs, there are fire extinguishers located at either entrance of the lab.
in the lab, this is a open lab for you to work on equipment, to work on projects, to work on stuff for learning. It is not a lab to throw in music and party, and we have to keep it a professional atmosphere so that everyone can work and enjoy the benefits of having this opportunity. So the key concept for any supervisor in the lab is you're in charge. If there's anything you're not comfortable with or that you have questions about, you're not sure of, the answer is no, do not do that, or stop doing that. And then you can go and get clarification for that question or the activity that's going on, whether it's okay or not. So you are the boss in the room.
And fully responsible.
Yeah, it's your responsibility.